How's it going, everybody? My name is Dylan, also known as PatsFan177. We got breaking news out here. Gordon Hayward waited until 4:55 to decide that he was going to opt out of his $34.2 million contract for the 2020-2021 NBA season. He will become an unrestricted free agent later this week. I don't even know what to say about this because this is a really tedious position to be in if you're Boston, and Gordon Hayward really he has options. He's got to have options because it's unfathomable. If you asked me a week ago if I thought Gordon Hayward is going to walk away from $34 million, I would have said, no, you're insane. Because he's got to know he can't get that much anymore. So there's something other than money that's going on here. And that's affecting Gordon Hayward's status with the Celtics. It's got to be. Yeah, recent reports suggested Hayward was leaning toward opting out of the final year of his contract, which signed prior to the 2017 season. So the Knicks are interested, and they have enough money to sign him just outright. Just sign him. The Pacers don't, and that's the one that I'm going to talk about later. There was another team that say Atlanta. If Atlanta can get guys like Rondo and some other good players, they still have too many bigs there. But if they can get guys like that, would Gordon be interested in going to play for Atlanta in Trae Young and all those guys out there, John Collins? I don't know what's going to happen here, but this seems like it's probably not great for the Celtics, the fact that he opted out. They could do a sign and trade, and that's what every Celtics fan is hoping for right now. I just don't understand why they would extend the timeline. They would extend the deadline. Both parties were trying to do that, and then Gordon would just leave for nothing. You know, it's clear, at least I think to me, that the Celtics and Hayward were trying to work something out together, and it's possible that it just didn't materialize for one reason or another, and now he will be a free agent. I don't know what'll happen, but like it says here, the worst case scenario for Danny Ainge & Co. is that Hayward simply leaves in free agency, which would mean the Celtics get nothing in return for Hayward while remaining over the salary cap. So yeah, that's terrible. That is really terrible. If they are not able to salvage anything from this deal, it'll be a just historically bad contract, obviously. And I don't want to blame Gordon for this because we know about his injury, and his just fit was weird in his second year when he came back from the injury. And then this year he played pretty well, and then at the end he just had another injury. I don't know, man. It seems like it's really bad news if he just signs elsewhere. There's still talk about Indiana being in on him, and Indiana doesn't have the money to sign him outright. They would need to make a sign and trade with the Celtics, and so people are still talking about, if they really want this guy, bring him home to Indiana. If they really want him, they can, maybe still do a Miles Turner thing. They don't need Miles Turner. Miles Turner is a surplus to them. They have Domantas Sabonis. They don't need him. People are getting hung up in the details now, like would Doug McDermott be in the trade, which at this point it almost seems unlikely just due to the fact that the Celtics have so little leverage here. They are at risk of losing Hayward for nothing. So they've got to get whatever they can take. And you know what? If they can trade for Miles Turner, I'll be a very happy man. That would be a really, really solid starting lineup to have Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Miles Turner as your center. So they've got to figure something out here, or else it's really looking bad for them. They're still over the salary cap, like they said, and people have talked about, well, maybe being able to use the mid-level exception now. I don't know how that all works. I'm sorry. This is not the league that I focus on the most. I really kind of focus on the draft and free agency and the crazy part of it because it's just so entertaining. And I do watch the games all the time. but as in the nitty-gritty of like contract details and trading, the NFL is my main league for that, so I don't really know the fine print, if you will, of all these rules and exceptions, and I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time when it comes to that. But we should find out more about Hayward's fate fairly soon, as the signing trade could be agreed to prior to the beginning of free agency on Friday. So we're still waiting. We don't know what's going to happen, and I still think that new stuff is going to come out probably right after I finish recording this video. But as of right now, Hayward opts out. Got other news like Ennis Canner opted in, and the team did not extend a qualifying offer to Brad Wanamaker, but they did pick up Shemi Ojeley's team option, which was weird to me, unless he would be one of those pieces sent back in a trade, which I would love, because I don't really like Shemi Ojeley, to be very honest with you. Grant Williams is the same body type, the same type of player, a 3-and-D guy that can actually hit his threes and play defense. I don't know why you would keep Shemi Ojeley at this point. And they do qualifying offers for Tremont Waters and Taco Fall, so that's good. You get those guys back. But this is the big fish here, and I'm not saying that I want Gordon back, because to be very honest with you, I thought he was going to leave no matter what this offseason. You know, I just think he's a $34 million bench guy, and that is really, really difficult to absorb. But if they can do a sign and trade for a longer term deal, which it's rumored that Hayward wants, and obviously Indiana, if they did want Gordon Hayward, then they're going to have to do a sign and trade. So they've got to give up something, and we need a big. They have two bigs that they probably don't need both of them. So, you know, if their choice is Sabonis, then Miles Turner would be the guy. But notice how many times I said if in that last sentence. There are so many things that still need to fall into place for that to even happen. And right now, the Celtics are at very, very high risk of losing him for nothing. That would be a pretty disastrous scenario. And if you look at the team that was constructed just 3 years ago, you know, with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Gordon Hayward, and Kyrie Irving. I mean, on paper, that is a stacked team, but it was never able to get going. That team just kind of, that had our worst year, you know, so I'm not saying the Celtics need Hayward. They played very well without Gordon Hayward. He's a valuable guy off the bench, but people who are saying they need him are really, I think they're wrong about that, because I don't think they need him. Their record is stellar without him in his time here in Boston. This is just a sad part about it. He got reunited with his Butler coach, but it did not work out. It never worked out here. And I'm not blaming Gordon for that. You know, there were times when I think, obviously, the injury was the big concern there, and, you know, bringing back from that was tough. And then his usage got all wonky when he did come back, and Kyrie was unhappy, and Jaylen and Jason regressed, and it was just a mess. And then, you know, Kyrie departs in free agency, Al Horford's gone now, and you're left with Hayward coming off the bench, which I'm sure he wasn't happy about. But again, I don't know if you can even blame somebody right now, if you can even blame one party, because so much happened on both sides that it's like you can understand their position, where the Celtics kind of don't want to thrust him into this starting role and be handling the ball with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And he wants a bigger role that he was promised, because probably when he signed here in 2017, he was promised that role, you know, and things just changed. It was really sad and unfortunate, but it's just one of those things that did not work out here. So it appears highly unlikely that he will be a member of the Boston Celtics next year. I think that's almost impossible. And again, Celtics are at high risk of losing him for nothing, which would be worst case scenario. And then we have to figure out anything that we can do to just salvage it with, you know, getting free agents and try to get a big man. Because I don't know if Daniel Tice is the guy that you really need. I don't know if he's the guy that can be your starting center. I love Daniel Tice, and he would be a fantastic option off the bench, but I don't know if he's a starting center on a championship team with some of the other bigs on really good teams in this league. I just don't. So they're going to have to figure this thing out, man. I don't know if they will. We might know tonight, we might know tomorrow. But until Gordon Hayward signs with another team, it's not over yet for the Boston Celtics. So, anyways, I will try to keep everybody updated. I didn't do a video on the draftees. I will try to get that uploaded later after I have a chance to kind of look over them and review them. There's only 3 of them this time, which is good. So anyways, let's all hope for the best, and I will see you all later.